Hi, my name is Matthew, and this is my Sprint 6 video. In this video, I'm going to go over what I've done for this sprint. So, mostly for this sprint, what I did was a lot of back end stuff like database, working on the database with Davis. There's not really much to show with that as we haven't gotten it 100% figured out, but we do have a good amount. Something that I can show is this recipes modal that we made for the app. So basically, this is all hard coded from the API, but what we're going to now have for the modal is to pick our recipes is this multi-select modal that we found on GitHub that someone made for React Native. So basically, this multi-select has different drop-down arrows, and this is just hard-coded stuff in here. Once we get the database running, I will um, fetch data and put it into here, but for right now, this is hard-coded. So what you can do is select multiple things and then press confirm at the bottom. It pulls it right here, and our plan to do with this is to then send these into an API call that pulls out what we want from that. So that's mostly what we did. What I did on this sprint was working on trying to figure out how that works because um, it is something that I had to read through many forums to see how it works and how the person basically made and implemented it, and then just a lot of back end stuff for this sprint as well. So that's the only real thing I have to show for this sprint. As you can see, I did commit code to GitHub. I'm gonna go to this older one because the newer one is just small changes, um, like adding pictures and stuff. So for this, we're having some trouble with the login in this. So the app.js and some of the authentication reducers and actions got changed, but that is because um, we were having trouble because of a certain implementation I did last sprint that messed up our login for this sprint. So it is now fixed. The login works completely. Then just the recipes, putting in the modal, and getting it to work, and taking out the last modal that we had and putting in the new one, and then auth actions, taking out the one thing that was breaking our code, and then this is where all the database stuff comes in. So we have food actions, food update, create, fetch, save, success. So basically just calling functions that a unique ID user is going to have his own um, food shopping list and um, food list, and then adding the food actions, and then all the food types of actions that we have, and then we have the food create reducers. The food reducers just making sure we have calls for each action, and basically, as you can see, a lot of what I did this sprint was back end for the database, so I didn't have really much to show on the demo, but this is all the work that I've had to do, and I have been working on this with Davis, so our code does look a little different, but we are going to put it together next sprint to get it working 100%, but this is what we have right now. And then for Team Gantt, as you can see, what I was doing this week was user created items table for Firebase. So basically adding stuff to Firebase. I started doing that. It's not 100% working, but it is pretty close to working. And then finish recipes modal. So it is finished, but we're just pulling items. We need to start pulling items from it. So as you can see, I didn't put it as 100% because I didn't want to put it as 100% without it pulling real items. And then the next sprint, what I am working on is get database recipe screen. So basically, um, pulling from the database, I'll pull up my timesheet for this. So as you can see, the two things that I worked on, and then next week, I'm working on a lot of stuff with Davis and Sarah, just getting our database working. So basically, set up a shopping list in the database. Right now, we just have our inventory list, so we want to add a shopping list for each user, push quantity and expiration changes. So basically, actually pushing actions to the database, so basically edit items, and then successfully add and take away items. So I have the functions just now getting to work, which we are very close to doing. And then get from database recipe screen. That's basically pulling from the database onto that recipe modal that I showed. And that is all the work that I did for this sprint. Thank you.